Okay, so now we're starting the meeting as of 6:30 p.m. Thank you everyone for taking the time to come. We will have the roll call and then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Vanessa Apopka, Joe Coetzee.
Yeah.
Present. Alex Collazo.
Present.
Dan Eckstein.
Here.
Sean Fee.
Here.
Ronald Goff.
Here.
Colette Keno. Martin Rexo.
Here.
Solomon Schoonover. Anna Bratsinas.
Here.
And Chair Oglesby.
Present.
You have the floor.
Thank you. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm not sure if you had a moment to look at the minutes that were sent to us last week. Okay, over the weekend. If you can just take a moment to review the minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. We need a roll call. Can we do it by voice vote? Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Chair.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, now we'll have our Parks Bond update by Ben Rogers.
We can't see.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Ben Rogers. I'm an acting assistant city manager and tasked with Park Bond. Come to the last two meetings and gave updates and questions. Alex is here as well to provide any updates on these specific questions. But one of the things that we've done for the last 2 months is we've created a citywide report of all the projects, Park Bond projects. We issue it to the city commission by the 15th of every month. And it has every park, status is, what it's waiting for, whose responsibility is it? Is it the city? Is it AECOM? Is it another party? Are we waiting on feedback from a permitting agency? Are we waiting on another stakeholder to provide feedback? Are we waiting on a community meeting? All of that is encapsulated in about a probably 15-page report. Very easy to follow. It's broken down by district, and then each district has a park in there with its updates in there. So what I probably start doing is working with Amy and send that to her, and so that way that report can also get distributed. They've received it. No questions. Perfect. So again, we're moving forward on things. We're getting some steam going. We've met with the procurement team, with our attorney's office, Patricia specifically, on a lot of things that have kind of slowed us down in the past, and I think we're making some progress. You'll see on the next agenda, I believe it's on the next agenda, that will be piggybacking an agreement with Clay County for $6 million. And what that allows us to do is to use a solicitation that Clay County did that has a menu of mostly playground equipment and parks features that we can just buy from that contract rather than doing individual solicitations. So we're very familiar with that contract. We've piggybacked it numerous times, but we've always done it on a one-off circumstance where we went to the commission every single time. This action will allow us to do it one time and then just start issuing task orders of purchase drawdowns from that action. So that will cut down a lot of the red tape, a lot of the back and forth of the bureaucracy. And we're coming up with a lot of those type of solutions to try to, again, expedite things and get back on track. Alex has been using another procurement method called job order contract, which allows us to, again, go off of a menu of options and expedite existing contracts to be able to fulfill our needs. So I think, I don't have anything particular. Happy to take questions. And again, Alex can speak on the projects. We are looking to go back to probably the commission in April or May and provide them with a status update on some of the signature parks. If you recall, We went, I think, in December and talked about some of the financial challenges that we have with the signature parks. And our update in next month will be stitching together the financing plan, the next steps. We're looking to finalize the scope on everything and get the solicitations out and get real dollars back versus just cost estimates from consultants. And then we're going to build in alternatives into those solicitations, so that way if they do come back higher or if inflation keeps growing, that we have ways that we can just cut certain elements and move forward with it versus having to rebid or redo action. So that's a sneak peek into some of the conversations that we'll have with the commission coming up in the next month or so. So with that, Madam Chair, I'll take any questions.
Do we have any questions? Yeah.
Small question. I'm curious, as you guys are basically adjusting, hopefully streamline the process without having to go back and forth every time in the city commission. And I'm curious to know, is AECOM part of that equation? Are they? I mean, they're still pretty much these project manager across the board for all parts, right? I think last time you might mention that they're another project manager.
So we bifurcated the projects into two, city staff led and then AECOM led. So most of the major projects that have a lot more intricacies and a larger budget are still being managed by AECOM. Some of the smaller ones, $200,000 projects, it just didn't make sense to have half the project go to project management costs. So on the ones that are smaller, that's what staff is working on. That's where a lot of these strategies are coming in to try to expedite delivery.
So, so they're still going to have a part in the process. They still have basically. I mean, I don't know how it works. The AECOM go to the city commission, or do they go to Parks and Rec, and then Parks and Rec goes to the city commission?
Yeah, all of their stuff flows through us. So, for example, Milton Ponds restrooms just got approved. That was an AECOM effort, and then it flows through our procurement process, and it gets awarded by the city commission.
Any other questions for Ben? Very good. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you all for your support. And again, like I said, we're going to continue to improve the transparency, keep this board advised. I do know that there was some requests made for some financial documents, so we'll be working to make sure that, again, we have the information readily available for your consumption. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, Alex Torres, is here for presentation. Yes, of course.
So, good afternoon, everyone. So, please, can you be the presentation?
Which one is it? 2?
Yeah, item 2 and 3.
And so, I combined a single presentation. Similar to the last time that we came, well, not last time, previous time that we request for a change or swap on 2 parts, and similar here for 2 different projects. So there's 2 requests here. First one, it's basically we have option A and option B for the first one. So I just put there what I recommend, but you can decide which one is better. So it's remove Lottery Matters entrance from the Cox one and allocate it through Chateau Park. And second one will be the same. Remove Welcome Park from the Parks bond and allocate Fisher one budget the Harbordale Elementary School. And explain you why on each one. So first one, both projects, the Lottery Matters entrance and Chateau Park are both in District 3. So they are just 1 minute driving difference between one and the other. Chateau Park and the Lottery Park entrance are very similar. So what happened is the master plan, I'm showing you the master plan, the Lottery Matters entrance show all the improvements. You see 2 parcels, the one in the south and in the north. So the master plan had a mistake. So there. So the north parcel is the one showing the pavilion and the playground. That parcel is private. It's not ours. So our part is the south one, which is just natural green area. So when we catch these mistakes and say, hey, it doesn't make sense to go forward with what we planned in the beginning. So we are basically recommending to the original plan was to swap, but it doesn't make sense to swap. So it's the Chateau Park, which it has the sidewalks, but we recommend to actually remove here the playground that we're gonna be installing in 1 minute now. So we're gonna show the next slide, please. That was a possible option one. You were just going to swap the budget and the scope, which for me doesn't make sense. And option two, which is the one that I recommend here. Next slide, please. Option two, which basically cancel that one and move the money, but the this one to the park and allow us to build and just the sidewalks also play a possible pavilion if money suffices. So again, it will be first option that I recommend. So
Very good in District 3.
Yes. So, okay, can you, I see the prices here, but can you explain again the difference in pricing with 335,000 moving over?
so can you go to the to just that's no. So we have a hundred K just allocated for Chateau Park and it's just basically the sidewalks and some minor improvements. The other one had $135,000 that basically included a playground installation. And basically you see everything was included on the north side part of the master plan.
Which is the blue roof, right?
The blue room, and that's a
Yes.
private area.
That's
So I did not realize it's private. Okay, you asked. So I feel like
So
this is a good move.
area, just to keep it green, small area. So basically we're saying we're not gonna do anything on private sector. So we're just proposing to move that playground pavilion to this area here on Chateau, which is 1 million south in this industry.
So hold on a second, Alex.
Of course.
So the scope overview that we said playground installation at pavilion.
Yes.
That was initial scope overview for the northern section. You could not put playground and pavilion because we don't have enough land. Is that correct?
Well, because it's private.
It's not
Private.
yeah.
The parcel is private, it's not even out. So
Okay, so now you have $235,000 that you are proposing to put in a Chateau Park
exactly.
and put whatever the scope was here, playground and installation of the pavilion to the Chateau.
Yes. You receive 235 plus 100. Go down
100
to
is for the side.
then all size down 235. This 235 plus 100 is 335, and that includes all scope, which
Correct.
is
Combined scope plus one location. Those parks 1 mile apart, right?
it's 1 minute apart. Is yes,
1 minute, half a mile.
correct.
To answer your question, Alex, yeah, I think it's a good move. You're not gonna put public dollars in that private area, and it's still close by and right. And the public will still be able to use it without reaching.
Half a mile distance and
So we want to make a motion to approve.
Well, hold on, this is just option one, right?
option one was before we catch up.
We
with this
just
private.
discussed option one.
We swap it, that's it, but it doesn't make sense to swap the scope and budget because we still won't be able to do the actual work on.
To clarify, I think on the first slide, there's two different situations.
Okay.
The first situation, which you just described, is District 3. Option one was to swap the scopes and still try to do the work. Option two was to relocate the funds and the scope to Chateau Park. I think I'm hearing support so far of option two for scenario one.
Correct.
Okay,
How's that for the minutes?
so hold on, I have a question. So we'll be allocating everything from Lauderdale Manor Centers to the Chateau. What are we gonna do in the Manor Centers? Nothing?
It's
Because it's private,
It's private and the other portion is just a green area, nothing there. It's just
green area, this little square, right?
go up this.
So, hold on. I'm done. Up. The blue room. That. The square, exactly. So, nothing more you can do in that.
So that's a bus, and that has a bus stop, nothing there else, so it's basically green area with nothing else.
Understood. We can proceed the playground, right? Well, you see the scope, initial scope was playground and pavilion,
Yes.
but do we have enough space to put at least playground or something? That was
Here we have space, playground will be. the ground up-
Yeah, I know here we have a lot of space, but I'm still talking about Manors and
No, here you don't have space, there's a lot of trees there, there's a bus. This
it's not big box.
doesn't, it doesn't make sense to put it there.
I just feel like we're taking $235,000 and giving them nothing, right? Not even a bench.
Well, actually, there's a bus entrance there that they have actually
They have a bench.
a bench there.
Someplace to rest.
That would be expanding, right? I feel like, obviously was identified the master plan.
Yeah.
That was already voted, and that's what the community we thought we're gonna do, right? So if we're gonna give $235,000 to this area, but you're right, it's not enough space to even put one wing for it.
Many trees, it's gonna be more costly just to try to mitigate. Yeah,
I'm definitely in favor of option two. I just wonder, is there a QA process so we don't make these like we accidentally approved money for a private park, private area? Like, is there a way to catch that in the future?
that's why the master plan was done. And when we are working with each one, breaking down everything, that's what we're finding even a possible mistake error. So it would be perfect to do this before, but it was not done. So wherever we catch, we bring it to you guys.
So you think there is a process and
It's
trying to confirm, because yeah, that's troubling. We got this far, but that's okay. Like, that's got it.
Yeah, thank you for catching
we try to do.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, private property, but it looks like it's open to the public. Is it, do you know who owns the property or
Well, the Broward County has an owner, but I don't know why it's
is
so.
that a house or is
No, it's a green area there, so
it just
that's maybe was confused because
private public space?
Non-public,
non-public.
private,
So-
private bench.
Somebody wants to have public.
just when we start.
I'm sorry, can you,
Oh,
you guys? Do I have to recognize her at all?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, can you please stand and introduce yourself?
Yes.
Okay,
So she was asking me how do we catch this? So once we start breaking down each project, we go every who's the owner, the utilities, that's what we catch, and we look for every possible situation that might arise to make the project feasible or not feasible. So that's what we always go, it's not ours.
do we have a motion?
I'd love to move that we go with option two.
Okay, do you need it to be restated in that same way, attorney? Yes. Okay, so can you,
Yeah.
restate that there is a request?
You remove Lauderdale Manor's entrance from the bond and transfer its full funding to the Chateau Park.
There you go.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a roll call.
Chelsea?
Yes. Yes.
Palazzo?
Yes.
Mr. Eckstein? Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Fee?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Ms. Rexo? Yes. Ms. Fratsinas? Yes. Chair Oglesby?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. All right, so the next item, Alex?
This item, so it's Miss Marley.
Marilyn, oh,
Good.
okay.
You're gonna help me with this one, but let me just do the first one. So let's
If you
do,
go through, I'm sorry, Alex, if you go through your portion, and then I'll invite Ms.
Okay.
Marilyn to introduce herself and add comment.
so the second point will be similar to the first one. Welcome Park to the Parks Bond and allocate its future projects to Harbordale Elementary School. Both parks are in District 4. The reason why I say it's future budget is because that's the Welcome Park. It's part of the third disbursement of the bond, which has not been issued yet. So that's why it's future. We can change it now for when the time comes. All right. So very similar to the other one. It's just 1.2 miles, 7 minutes riding. You have the Welcome Park, and you guys seen it before. And we have the school. I know that through a lot of conversations and back and forth, that Miss is gonna be able to explain. I'm just gonna go over the overview and the budget in the school. Please, next one. So the original.
It's a welcome.
Park.
No, welcome
Welcome
park.
Park.
It's at State Road
The
84
airport.
and US 1.
Outside the
So it's right outside of Fort
The airport entering Fort Lauderdale, you see there.
It's a pass.
Oh, yes, it is.
So the current scope, we have the scope for Lincoln Park along with the budget, 183K. And includes benches, bike racks, removes street parking, ADA improvements. And we have the Harbordale Elementary School with a budget allocated of $275,000. And that includes the playground replacement and court resurfacing. So we have both, but the master plan included. So we can continue the next one, please. So the proposed scope is to remove the welcome park and basically transfer future budget for a total of $458,000. Now we include a new scope for school, the playground replacement, the courts, it's not gonna be needed anymore. Playground resurfacing, shape fencing and additional resurfacing on the south area of the school. So next slide. This is something that basically was discussed between the parties, and this is basically what we try to fund. It's gonna be not enough funds to cover everything, but at least we'll try to cover as much as possible, depending on where we're ready to put these numbers on in the street. So this is my part.
So the shortfall is about 50,000, less than 50,000.
42 right now. That's if you
Okay.
go with this one, we're 42, but again, these numbers will depend on when we actually decide what's gonna be the priorities, A, B, C, and then if this is not possible, then we'll go with whatever is possible.
At this time, I'd like to invite Marilyn Romano, Harbordale Civic Association President, to give us her.
Members of the board. This is a continuation of a 5-year saga, at least 5 years. In the original Parks Bond wish list, some of you have probably been here long enough to remember the original Parks Bond wish list. Harbordale Elementary School is not included as part of the joint use playground. It's not on the list, but the Harbordale Welcome Park was on the list. And there was, as they said, about $183,000 associated with that park. There's a pavilion and all kinds of things which on mature reflection does not make sense because it's a passive park. It's at the extreme end of the city. It's surrounded by roads. This is not a place where you want to put a pavilion, which would essentially become a homeless encampment. So from the perspective of the Welcome Park, it's beautiful. It's doing great. Thank you so much to the Parks Department. They keep it pristine. It's fine. So 5 years ago, or about 3 years ago, when we, some of you remember this as well, we started to add back some joint use park playgrounds. And we were here in our t-shirts, and the principal was here, and we were all jumping up and down and saying, give us the keys, and you were gracious enough to approve putting it into the program. And then we waited 3 years for all the appropriate permits and just signing of things going back and forth. And when we got to about the beginning of this year, and we started getting serious, working with the Parks Department and the school on a proposal, which is at this point just a proposal. We're not as far as some of the other guys who actually have a plan. We have a proposal. We obviously came to the conclusion that we didn't have enough money. The original amount of money that was attributed to the Harbordale Joint Use Playground was $275,000. Might have made it, but you know, from your experience with all these projects, they just keep escalating in price. So in order to do what we had originally anticipated in the joint use playground, we needed more money. So we looked around, we worked with Parks Department, we worked with our commissioner, and we said, you know, it makes some sense for us to repurpose the money that would have gone to the Welcome Park into the joint use playground, which is going to be such a game changer in that neighborhood. For we have no park space on that big. So you can see from the estimated cost, we need approximately $500,000. And if you reallocate the amount of money from the Welcome Park, you get up to $458,000. Which, if we're very careful and we move quickly, we might be able to do it. It's a question of how quickly we can move, and how quickly we can move depends upon how quickly we can get the funds reallocated so that we can actually start working on a plan. It's a very simple plan. We're not talking about, you know, fancy schmancy. We're gonna put some gates some additional gating to protect the school. There is a fence around it now, but there needs to be more fencing to protect the school property. We're going to put in a brand new playground. The old one is 20 years old and it was paid for by the PTA and it's literally falling apart. And we could put surfacing underneath the playground, the appropriate surfacing under the playground. And as was mentioned, there is a sandy area adjacent to the playground where the kids now play in the sand. And the kids love it, but the teachers are crazy about it because they drag sand into the school and the parents are crazy about it because they drag sand into the cars and the homes. And so we're going to try and put the entire sandy area into the same surface area as the playground. So that area will be expanded to not only just underneath the playground, but adjacent area where kids can, kick a soccer ball around and not get sand in their shoes. Essentially, that's all it is. And amazingly, you need $450,000 to do that. So we're hoping that you will bless this reallocation, and we will obviously then be going to the city commission to support it as well there. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Marilyn. Are there any questions from the board?
One quick question. I'm really glad to see Harbor LBA highlighting the joint use parks, and I was surprised that they weren't initially. Is that park open to the public now, as it is?
No,
So it won't be until.
till this becomes effective.
That's it.
And then it's only open on weekends.
Yeah,
You know how that program works. School.
Hi, Marilyn. Nice seeing you. Question. They both in the last phase for the bond withdrawals.
No, I believe the Howardale, you can correct me.
Howardale's already funded through the project number 12782, but Welcome Park Street. So we can start working with the money that we have right now, and then when we have the next part, we can continue with the rest. That's what we can start to see here.
Okay, so 275 it's funded,
Yes.
and for 275 you can do the playground with servicing.
And wait, we got the next funding, so we can do whatever can be done with the rest.
But if the so how we gonna manage that if with Welcome Park it's not even funded
Whatever, what,
because it's on the last phase of the withdrawal for the
Correct.
for the bond.
So right now, the budget office, they have a sheet of what's gonna be funded once that third disbursement comes. So with this approval goes through, then we go with them, is change that. So instead of going to Welcome Park, we will just go directly to this project number.
Okay, so we can start the work on the Harbondale and we can do the playground with resurfacing, and we're just not gonna put the shades and fencing.
So
And the additional surfacing.
And the additional would be when it's 3 years from now, the last phase of the bond money.
So I think the
Right.
important part is making the funding decision today and then let staff go back and figure out how to make it work in the timeline. We have a handful of projects that are delayed for certain reasons that are already funded. We got projects that still have design phases to go through. So I think we can get it in the timeline. We just need the blessing and the decision from the board to support this action.
But the reason why I'm asking is I don't wanna ask if that's funded, doing nothing, and we wait until the last money kicks in, and then we miss the boat of the inflation and tariffs and who else knows, because we were waiting until whole sum come, right? So you guys comfortable to do this as a portions, right? Like a phase one,
I think portions would be the worst case scenario, but my goal would be to try to expedite the funding with our current situations and advance it as soon as we can for the community.
What's a general timeline
So
for what? For the time for accelerating everything that you need to, budget office or whatever
The first portion, we already have the money.
so
So
you know, for the part that's unfunded, that has to go back through that
I think
process.
it's an administrative function.
Okay.
We have to go to the commission and get their approval to take this action and move the money around. And then it's just staff looking at what balances we have on projects, if they're stalled, if they're moving, and figure out if we can readjust where there's timing.
Harbordale has been waiting patiently, so I was just trying to figure out.
Bless you, bless you. So, I'm just gonna, for the record, give you members of support. unanimously, the Huntsville Civic Association approved the transfer unanimously. And the school is in 100% agreement with the transfer. And thank you very much. Thank you all. Oh, yeah.
Thanks. One question. It makes a ton of sense to not put the money into the welcome part because it's. But I do have a question about it because it says in the scope of overview, benches, bike racks, remove street, and then it has a comma, and then it says parking. Were you removing street parking or were you getting rid of the access street?
That little access street.
Yeah. They were gonna get rid of that?
I'm surprised there are people from Miami Road to use it
Oh, absolutely.
and are not in favor of removing it. So we're just gonna leave everything as is.
Well, I was just checking because there was a comment, so I wasn't sure if you were gonna remove an entire street or you're gonna remove street parking.
There is no street parking.
Okay, that's what I wanted. Because it has a comment, so I wasn't sure what.
I'll correct that site says.
Yeah, no, it's correct.
It is correct.
But one thing I do say is that, probably spruce up the park, welcome park as you come in. I just came from the airport last night. And I just came from California. There was in Palm Springs, you come out of the airport and it pops.
Palm Springs.
It pops well, but there's a lot of places to do it. It pops just for landscape, just for landscape. Yeah.
And you must have caught it in the pad cycle when they weren't there on the grass, because they're on the grass all the time and it just looks beautiful.
I live right there, so. No, I live in River Oaks, but I drive that route every day.
That route.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So may I have a motion?
Oh, wait. No, that's.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna.
We can have more discussion after the motion too.
Okay.
So may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the plus from Welcome Park to the Harbordale Elementary School. Is that a motion?
Well, I don't want to provide you verbiage for your motion, but if
Okay.
you're supporting what staff is proposing, if you look at the agenda, they're asking for 183,000.
Oh, thank
So
you.
we could just use that verbiage on
So
the agenda.
Okay,
Should say the number.
Yes, we need the number in there. I'm sorry.
maybe a move the bond fund reallocation.
Yeah.
from Welcome Park
Okay.
Elementary to
I make a motion for the bond fund reallocation from Welcome Park, which is 183,000, to the joint use playground at Harbordale Elementary School.
I second that.
now discussion, Vice Chair.
I was just gonna, say like, Mr. Fee over here, I transit that, I work in the maritime industry. I transit that area all the time. I think it's not a great place for a park, although I do agree it could use a little sprucing up when you're coming out of the airport. But it is completely surrounded by a commercial area. It's underneath, plane routes and stuff like that. So to even consider the park would be really, I don't disagree that there could use a little sprucing up and some landscaping, but I think I'd rather see it goes to the Harbordale community and reinvest those areas to really use a playground in that area. So I agree with the motion.
Thank you. I concur. All right, so may we have a roll call? I'm sorry, was there any other discussion?
Hey, Ms. Kelsey
Yes.
and Mr. Eckstein,
Yes.
Mr. Palazzo,
Yes.
Mr. Fee,
Yes.
Mr. Goff,
Yes.
Ms. Rexo,
Yes.
Ms. Francines,
Yes.
and Chair Oglesby.
Yes,
Unanimous.
thank you. Thank you, Marilyn.
Right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
We will now have a department update by Amy Johnson.
Good evening, board. Amy Jean Baptiste, Deputy Director. As soon as my presentation comes up, I'll start. I'm just gonna quickly go over department updates for you guys. We'll start with summer camp. So I did provide a pamphlet as part of your packet.
Summer camp registration starts on the 31st. Go to the next slide, Jerry. So just to go over some, over our camps. So we have community camps, which is like our general summer camp where we do activities, field trips, and some on-site activities as well. There's an elementary based camp, which is on your left side, and those are all of the centers that we house them. And then there's a middle school and high school section. So we have Bass Park with our CIT program, which is basically a counselors in training where we have middle schoolers kind of shadowing our counselors so they can be future counselors. And similar to that, we do that in our lifeguard section with lifeguard in training, which is at Lauderdale Manors. And then we also have a middle school, high school general camp out of Carter.
It's nice to see you got a sailing camp.
We do have a sailing camp. Speaking of sailing camps, these are a list of our specialty camps. So we have Carter Park, which does like a speed and agility camp. George English hosts our tennis camp. We have a sports and fitness camp out of Holiday Park. Southside is our theater camp, and sailing camp in partnership with Coral Ridge Yacht Club we host as well. And then we have some, it's the same camps at the bottom, but just for the middle schools. It's on the screen. Go ahead, Jerry.
Now, residents, you mean the residents that are in Fort Lauderdale, right?
So we have resident and non-resident rates. So our camps are not exclusive to City of Fort Lauderdale residents.
So a non-resident would be like in Weston.
Weston, anything outside. So Wilton Manors. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything outside of the city would be non-resident rates. Yeah. And this is just a list of some of our community pools, because we also have community programs. So some of our programs include some free programming like our rec swim, our movie nights, and some team splash events. And then we have some fee-based programs such as our Learn to Swim. And speaking of Learn to Swim, that component is also part of our summer camp. So all participants that are part of our general camp, not our specialty camps, because specialty camps are kind of difficult to navigate since they're only there for a few weeks. But our general camps, they do incorporate the Learn to Swim component in there. We have some competitive swim team, rec swim teams, water aerobics and lap swimming as well. And some of these are year round, but I wanted to highlight these as part of this. Any questions about summer camp?
This is kind of a segue, but the YMCA stuff that we've listened to, when does that happen?
That's a good question. So I believe they're slated for 2027, and I think that's when they'll come along. They will also be offering summer camps, but that's not taking away from what we currently offer. They'll be probably taking over the holiday park camps. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding
How long
camps?
attended are the camps? I mean, is it like 10 to 20 participants or?
So each side has a different capacity based on the facility size. What I will say is we take roughly about between all sessions, about 5,000, about 5,200. Yeah.
They fill up pretty quick then?
Yeah. So some sites are better than others. So like I can tell you like Croydon has some of
People like sleep overnight.
yeah. So like some are better than others, but for the most part they're doing pretty well.
We have enjoyed them, and I would tell you, like you said, you're in queue.
Yeah.
To get them. So Riverside Park has been great for us. Carter Park is a great park. They bring in different performers, steel drum. They have cotton candy chains. They make it very engaging and active, and they keep them hydrated and safe. Yeah.
That's good. So I'll move on to our upcoming events. So upcoming event, we have Jazz Brunch, which is a series, by the way. The next one is on April 6th. Up there, you'll see some of our bands that we have performing for this event. So the series is, I believe, a 6-part series, if I'm not mistaken, but it's on the first Sunday. It's hosted at Esplanade. Next we have very nice Music Island.
Yeah.
Yes, Music Island. Which is Friday Night Jam, which is a free Latin concert that we host at Riverland Park. We're doing 2 concerts here. It's a 2-parter. The first one is April 11th, and that's usually hosted at Riverland for about 7 to 10 p.m.
I think I saw work done at Riverland. There was some taking or pavilion work being done too.
Yeah, so there's been some structural renovation to that. Okay, yes. That's a good question. So each event does have food trucks. You got not forget about you. And then we try to theme this one for some Latin flavor. Next we have Carter Park Jams, which is also a concert series as well. The next upcoming one is April 18th, and that's of course hosted at Carter Park. Free concert series, food trucks, music. This is a very well attended event actually in comparison to the other concert series I was discussing. We get a few hundred people that come to this event.
It's a big field, so you don't
Yeah.
feel.
Oh, you don't feel clustered or anything. No.
Chairs.
No, bring the chairs, come out, and it really is a good time. And sometimes they just theme it, and they come up with some good themes. And then I believe this is the last one, which is our pro series out of Fort Lauderdale Aquatic Center. So this is a ticketed event in partnership with USA Championship Series. So the event is from April 30th, to May 3rd this year. I'm just very excited about this event. As you can see below, you'll see some Olympians that will be coming out to this event. So I believe it's going to be well attended. And excited to have Yes. Any questions about?
I love your presentation.
Yeah.
Very nice slide.
So I did the summer camp for the principals. So we do a roundtable with all our principals, and I did that presentation. I was like, oh,
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
yeah.
You upped the game.
Appreciate it.
And that's the end of my
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you, Amy.
So now, we will have a second from Sergeant Brandon Diaz. I asked for an update following our last meeting. We kind of talked about spring break, and I had saying that the mayor and some other officials did a little setup about what they were going to do for spring break to kind of manage the crowds. I think overall it's been good, but I wanted to hear from, I thought we all might want to hear.
I live on the beach.
Sergeant Diaz.
I'm Sergeant Brandon Diaz. I'm with the Office of the Chief. Spring break this year has been a little quieter than it has been in years past, which led to less enforcement issues and stuff like that. So Motors was able to Motors, our traffic unit, was able to focus on rideshare, blocking A1A, tint, loud exhaust. The majority of the complaints we get with the loud exhaust and stuff like that. So I've been out there enforcing that. They've written over 3,000 tickets since March 1st. So they are definitely doing work. They're out there all day. I checked on them today. We've had 32 arrests in the month. 10 of those are downtown, 22 beachside. The majority of them are trespass after warning or people causing disturbances, stuff like that. So not huge numbers or anything considering the amount of people that are here. Like I said, quieter than usual. This is our last week. It's definitely winding down. It's definitely quiet up there. I just left the beach just now. So I was in the league. There was
Still recruiting out there?
We are recruiting out there. Yep, they've had the recruiting time. They've had a lot of traffic. We actually have gotten police officers from doing that. So we have people that process with us due to the recruiting during spring break. So that's
nothing dangerous in the.
Oh, you didn't see the Fight Club on the news?
yeah. Just to clarify that was immediately broken up. If you watch the full video, which of course is not released, the mounted unit was there with the horses. Yeah, our units come with that. So it wasn't quite spectacle already. No, close. And it's been going on for a long time, 24 years, so probably longer than that. So anybody have any questions?
So nothing dangerous, just the kids are well behaved.
No, spring breakers don't typically cause any violent crimes. Yeah. If they're going to be involved in one, they're usually victims. So this year it's been really good as far as them being safe and the numbers we put out there on the beach to keep everybody safe and everything quiet. Guys have done an amazing job. So yeah.
No news is good news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, service.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
that day.
Appreciate it.
Go to the beach now.
What a tough
Safe.
job to work at the beach. All right, so at this time, we will have a board meeting time discussion. So there is a proposal to change the board meeting time from 6:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's more in line with the other city meetings, and then maybe we would be out a little earlier, so I just wanted to kind of get a sense from the board if that is doable, pros and cons for moving from 6:30 to 6 p.m.
I'm good.
I can come out in a couple months. So I wish we would have thought of it that year.
Yeah. You want to take a vote?
I don't know that I have. I don't know. Do I have to?
I would
Yeah.
like to,
Oh,
yes.
okay. All right.
How's the staff feeling about this? Like,
Oh, yeah.
So I'm fine either way, whether you guys do 6 or 6:30. We are the latest board. So in parks, I can't speak for all boards. In parks, we oversee about 4 boards, and the latest outside of us is Marine Advisory, which is 6. The others are like at 1 and 3 o'clock. But of course, that depends on some boards. Have different.
Can you get here by 6 o'clock?
So that's really the question. It's how you guys feel about it, about moving it half hour.
I'm sorry, Marta. So the conversation did start with the staff to see what was amenable for that.
so
And then-
staff provided the recommendation?
Yes, staff provided the recommendation to move, and I had a concern, because I don't know where everybody works, where you're coming from, if that made sense. So it works for me, but I need to make sure that it works for the board.
Yes.
All right, so then we're gonna call for a motion. May I have a motion? New guy? Ron?
Oh, I make a motion.
Oh, thank you.
I'll make a motion to move the future board meetings from 6:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Starting next meeting scheduled for April.
I'll second motion.
Thank you. May I have a roll call? That's short.
Okay. Ms. Brexo,
Yes.
Mr. Colasso,
Yes.
Ms. Coetzee,
Yes.
Mr. Eckstein,
Yes.
Mr. Fee,
Yes.
Mr. Goff,
Yes.
Ms. Francinas.
Yes.
Chair Oglesby.
Yes.
City Manager.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll be sure to send out reminders.
Yes. Yeah, send out an extra reminder, but set a reminder in your phones.
I think the staff does amazing work with the preparation and agenda and flyers.
And I appreciate it's at a time for those.
We can
who are
at
working.
least accommodate that 30 minutes.
Alright, so any new business?
At one point, I'd like to, Amy in particular and Carl, I've known Carl for a very long time. What an exceptional job they've done on Bayview Park. And we are very grateful in Coal Ridge for it all. And I'm extending that from my residents, my neighbors, my friends that live in that community. Thank you kindly. It's a beautiful park and it's used constantly.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Of course, it's not Colin and I, it's our team. It's a team. And we have a huge department, but thank you.
Sure.
Definitely make
But
sure. it's in there.
Carl in particular, because I watched him grow up in the city. I've been here since '77, longer than he has probably.
Well, thank you.
You're
I
very
do
welcome.
have one question, Ben, or Alex. Just curious to know how the new pickleball stadium or whatever it is they're building down by the airport is coming.
The board?
Yeah. That's not part of our parks. program.
No.
That's right.
No, it's a P3, so yeah.
So where are we at? How far is the completion on that?
So it's nearly complete. They did a soft opening. They've been providing tours and accepting memberships. I believe their grand opening is coming up soon. I can't remember, but that's a very good point. And maybe I'll put it on the agenda for next time.
They're gonna have a venue where they're gonna have concerts there and stuff like that, right?
I don't know, concerts.
They have a very small outdoor stage, I would say.
Like a band shell, maybe?
Like, yeah.
Oh, it's a band shell, but I wouldn't say large scale.
I don't know, I thought it was a staging area for like a little, see them there before.
And the last update I received is that they were shooting towards end of April, May to have the stadium really done and ready to go. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nearly
It's 90% done.
Yeah, they hosted a tournament in January,
Oh,
but it was just partial. It wasn't the full stadium, just some of the courts. And just as a quick update, since you brought the topic up, we did pass, the commission passed an amendment to that agreement, I believe, the last meeting, which allowed us to move forward with rebuilding the parks department headquarters building, I guess is what we'll call it. So now we have fully funded that project, and we started design and initial concepts with them because they're the ones who are responsible for that.
has there been any more blowback? Because I remember initially there was a lot of the community over there kind of was against it, but I think, you know, overwhelmed people thought it was
There were
zone anyway, so.
Yeah, so during that first tournament, I mean, there were some learning curves.
Yeah.
We adjusted real time, gained some real time experience. So I think we're prepared for the next one. They're working with city staff on putting up new signage for wayfinding on how to get people to places. They did secure some off-site parking, so they had some shuttle routes and making sure that they weren't impactful to the neighborhoods and trying to stay on the main road. So it was a good first soft opening for that tournament since it wasn't all the entire campus. But yeah, I mean, it's moving forward.
And you can't access that from inside the park, right? That has its own entrance.
There's a fence with a gate. And that was one of our learning opportunities during the first one. So we put some signage around the gate, and we ended up blocking off the gates. That way, people weren't utilizing the park space to get to the.
At our last meeting, they had a meeting at Floyd Hall the same night, and somebody in our neighborhood mentioned they want to take part of Floyd Hall, the back part where the softball is, and build parking. Is that overflow for the fort?
No, it's not associated with the port.
Okay.
I know. I think we have a kind of a concept layout that the HOA kind of gave direction on, and I think right now that you're costing that out and getting some dollars to it, so we go back to the HOA and share that. Correct.
Clarification, just in the comments. And we'll, some things that may come up, so we'll finish those numbers.
Okay. But there's gonna be no access from there to the fort. Okay, so a couple people were wondering because the parking was an issue at that first tournament. But they did do a good job with showing. I actually did. Thank you.
Any other new business? Okay, hearing none, I call the meeting. All right, adjourn the meeting.